Hey there, kids. We're doing lesson 20 in module 2 today. And the objective here is to divide 2 and 3-digit dividends by 2-digit divisors with single-digit quotients. And we're going to connect to a written method. The written method is the standard algorithm, also using the check to help confirm that we have the right quotient and the right remainder. So you're able to check your work. Now, the thing that's new here, different from lessons 18 and 19, is instead of having a divisor that's like 10 or 100 or something that's very simple, we actually have 2 digits. We're not having a multiple of 10 like 10, 20, 30, 40, or 50. We've got 21, we've got 43, we've got 23. So we have regular numbers that are 2 digits for the divisor. And then the dividend is going to have most likely 2 digits, and then we'll talk about some strategies that help us solve. So today we're going to continue using the round the divisor first. You're going to think about it, and I usually will say, I wish I had a better number. I wish I had something that was easier to skip count by. Also, today, when you are rounding, you're going to want to think about not going over the dividend. So when you round, remember how we were trying to get compatible numbers. Today is the day that you're going to be thinking about the price is right and winning that showcase, and you can't go over the price that you guess, otherwise you don't win the showcase. Well, in division, the consequences are not as dire. It's not that you won't win something, it's just that you may have to check your work. So let's talk about what that means. Taking your 72 divided by 21. I wish I had 20 so it would be easy to skip count, 20, 40, 60. If I have 3 20s, I would get 60. Choosing this 20 and getting the 3, I put the 3 in the quotient, then I proceed multiply. Now you're done with the estimating portion for a second. You're going to multiply the actual numbers. So you don't do any more work with the I wish I had a 20 part. You're just going to multiply. 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6. Do the subtraction and then compare. And you need to make sure that your number that is left over here is less than the 21. Take your remainder, do your check like we did in the previous lesson, multiply the divisor times the quotient, because it's really telling you it's 3 groups of 21, and that uses a total of 63. And then you have 9 left over, and all that together should make 72, which is what you started with. In the same way, you might have 94 divided by 43. So this one's a little bit bigger. So I wish I had 40, but I don't actually have 40. I have 43. I'm just wishing that I had something easy to count by. So this one, I could say, well, 40, 80, okay, 2 40s would give me 80. That's pretty close to 94. That's why I put the 2 in the ones place and then proceed to multiply. And then I check and everything works out fine. The problem comes, and the important part of today is recognizing that, let's say I have 84 divided by 23, and I round 23 to 20, and I say 20, 40, 60, 80. This is actually 84, and I guess 4 for my quotient. The problem is that there actually were 3 extras, and if you multiply 3 times 4, that's going to be 12 extra. That will move me past the 80. So when I'm rounding and doing the work in my head, I may forget to consider that there's actually a little bit extra. So what happens here is if you proceed to multiply 4 times 3 and get 12, carry the 1, 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9, you end up with 92, which is bigger than 84. And in 5th grade, we won't be working with negative numbers, and so you can't take the 92 from 84, and in long division, you would not proceed. What you would do is you would go back to your quotient, realize that there is a mistake here, that the 4 is too big. 4 times 23 is going to be too much for this to handle. So you reduce the size of your quotient by 1. If you're like way over, you'd have to maybe take it down by 2. But initially, you should be pretty close, so then you would change it to 3, proceed to multiply. 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 2 is 6. As long as you have something less than the numbers in the dividend, then you can do your subtraction, compare, Really important step to compare your remainder to your divisor, and then you can do your check. One other problem was 57 divided by 29. If I wish I had 30, you just have to be really careful about, thinking, oh, well, this is not too big. I could get close to 57 with two of them, and then you start multiplying, and it's like, I'm just over by one. It doesn't matter if you're over by one, you are over. And so then that's too big. You have to take it down by one. It doesn't matter if you have 28 left over. This is okay. And then that would be your remainder, and then you would do your check. Okay, and that's really the most important stuff from our notes today. Kind of a lot, but it's really critical that you understand those important steps. And I know this is going to focus because it's my very good friend today, my wonderful computer. So, lesson 20, here we go. Divide, then check with multiplication. The first one is done for you. And you're probably going to want to separate your work and make it nice and neat. So put a line down the middle, and then right above C and D and right above E and F. If you section off your paper, you'll have nice, neat work. Okay, so knowing that the first one is done for us, remember that this goes inside the bracket, and this goes outside. This is the divisor here. This is the dividend. Showing what the example is like, we're going to make our bracket over here. Take the second number, put it on the outside. Take the first number, put it on the inside. So 49 divided by 21. And how many times do you think you can get 21 into 49? I wish I had 20. And then if I had 20, I could say 20 and 40. So I might just choose 2, and you're going to put it in the ones place. Remember, place value matters, okay? And so I can't fit 21 into 4. It's the 49 that I am considering here. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. I've ended up with less than my dividend, so that's good. I can subtract here and get a remainder of 7. So now I'm going to do my check. And remember the steps in the division family. When you're doing your work, divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. We're going to do this at least through one time in this lesson, and in later lessons coming up soon, you'll probably go through it 2 or 3 times. So the check is to take your outside numbers, multiply them. Multiply 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, and then take that remainder and add it. When you do all these, you should end up with your dividend that you started with, okay? So we're taking our work and we're proving that we're right, making sure we have the right quotient with a correct remainder. So that's our objective today, and we're just going to start firing through these problems. C, 78 divided by 39. 78 divided by 39. And so I wish I had 40. If I had 40, then I could say 40 times 2 is 80. Now, you should be thinking about this. Now, I don't have 40, and I don't have 80. I have 1 less. So if I had 2 39s, then actually that would have 2 less than 80, which is 78. So this looks like it's going to be an exact problem. And all that I'm thinking about before I actually write the 2. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. And lo and behold, there's my answer. Now, I have no remainder. That's okay. You don't have to put R0. You can just put check, and then we're going to do the work. 39 times 2. Remember, the outsides are what you're multiplying. 9 times 2 is 18. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Compare. Hooray. Whenever you get that matching number that you started with, you can put a star or a happy face, whatever makes you happy. Okay, let's do another one. 84 divided by 32. 32 on the outside, 84 on the inside. I wish I had a 30. Okay, so think in your head, this is just dreamy. I'm just dreaming. I don't really have it. I really have 32, but I wish I had 30. Now, 30, 60, 90. Okay, if I had 3 30s, that would give me 90. That would be a little too high. And I have more than that. So I'm going to pull back my 3, and I'm going to think about 2 30s. Now go ahead and multiply. That was the divide part. In the division family, that's what all those previous lessons have taught you to do, is to think about how to put your number in the quotient for the first one. Now I can multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. Now I can subtract. 84 minus 64 is 20. I can compare. 20 is less than 32. And today we're just stopping here. Remainder 20. Now your check. 32 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. Don't forget to add the remainder. 84 here, 84 there. Hip, hip, hooray. And we move on. Okay? 77 divided by 25. 25 goes on the outside. 77 goes on the inside. You might be thinking, I can count by 25s because that's like quarters. Sorry, it's out of focus. Focus. It'll come around. So 77 divided by 25, if you had 3 quarters, you would actually have 75 cents. So I can put a 3 here in the ones place and then know that 3 times 25 is 75. Do my subtraction and get 2, remainder 2. So check, and I have 25 times 3. 5 times 3, 15. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. There's my 75 that I just got with my 3 25s. And then I'm going to add the remainder. Don't forget to add because you can't stop here. Now I have 77. That matches. Huzzah! There we go. And we move on. And last one on the front, 17 on the outside, 68 on the inside. 68 is our dividend. 17 is the divisor. If I had 20, I sure wish I did, because 20, 40, 60, there's my 3, okay? I have less than that. So sometimes if you think, 3 might work, but draw it lightly, because it might actually, you might be able to fit more. So if I had 3 times 7 is 21, and then 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5, that's quite a bit of room left. If I was to subtract, you might see that you have 17. Now notice I did that all very lightly. If I have 17 left over, that's a problem. I can't match my divisor. It has to be less than. That means I could fit a whole other 17 in there. So looking at my quotient, now I know I could bump it up and have 4 of them. 7 times 4 is 28. And then 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 is 6. And look, it works out nicely. So you can always change your guess in the quotient. It's very simple, quick and easy. And if you're not sure about something, do it lightly and then go over it darker if it actually works out. The check step is going to be 17 times 4. 7 times 4 is 28. Carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 is 6. And that matches. Bravo. Okay? So those are the front problems. That's just kind of getting you used to the procedure and the steps. Now we really have to start thinking. All right. When dividing 82 by 43, Linda estimated the quotient to be 2. Okay, so she's estimating. Examine Linda's work and explain what she needs to do next. On the right, show how you would solve the problem. So if we take 82 by 43, which is actually here, and we say, well, Linda wishes she had 40, so that's appropriate. Round the divisor first. There we go. And then if you put the 2 there, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, what's the problem? So what's the problem here? What is 82 minus 86? Well, this is too big. And in 5th grade, like we talked about in the warm-up, when you have something here that's too big, you can't use that. So what you need to do is you need to reduce the size or the number in the quotient. Okay? If this is too big, then that's too big. So you need to take it down by 1, even if it seems like it's going to be a lot less. That's okay if it's a lot less. It just your remainder has to be less than 43. So do your standard subtraction, 2 minus 3. You can't do it, but that's okay. Go next door, take 1, and then give 10 to the next column. 12 minus 3 is 9. 7 minus 4 is 3. And when you look at your leftover, then 39 is less than 43, so that's good. We want that to happen. We can have a remainder of 39. So my work can show that this remainder of 39 is okay. Okay? So that's kind of how you want to solve it. When you show how you solve it and you explain what she needs to do, you just want to make sure you write down, reduce the number in the quotient. Okay? That's the big step there. Next one, gotta move my water. Next one, a number divided by, oh, these are fun. Okay, they're hard for some people, so pay attention. A number divided by 43. Okay, so set this up because you don't know what the number is. A number divided by 43. 43 is on the outside. Or if you could say a number divided by 43, the number is first. Has a quotient of 3 with 28 as a remainder. So find the number. What is this here? What is this here? Find the number, show your work. Now, we did a problem like this in lesson 19, and I was talking about the strategy. Okay, so how do you find the number? You're going to use the check. That's going to be your strategy. So what do you do when you check? Look, I've got the divisor, I've got the quotient, and I've got the remainder. So in the check, you would use these things to prove what this is. Now, we don't have anything to know what it is, but I can certainly work my way back. 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4 is 12. Don't forget to add the remainder. 9 plus 8, 17. 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5, and then the 1 comes down. So this mystery number that I would compare with would end up being 157. So the number is 157. Okay, and then we showed our work and we explained that we're supposed to use the check. There are only 2 more. Fear not, we're almost done. Write another division. You get to write another division problem that has a quotient of 3 and a remainder of 28. Now here, they're telling you only this much. Okay? So what do you do if you don't know this and you don't know that? And you might be saying, I'm totally stuck. But think really carefully and critically about what you have to understand about the remainder. When you have a remainder, could I put 5 here? Could I do 5 times 3 plus 28? No, I could not. There go the lights, because our lesson is almost done. I can't have a 5 here. The rule is, okay, the rule for the remainder always, okay, is it must be less than the divisor. It must be less than the divisor. So if this is my remainder, then my divisor must be at least 29. Okay? So that's what happens. You can't have like 20 here. You can't have 25 here. If I got a remainder of 28 with that something lower than 28 as my divisor, I would say, well, we have to fix the quotient, and it's not going to work out. So choose, this is the fun part, any number for the divisor that is greater than the remainder. So choose any number greater than the remainder for the divisor. And so on this one, it would have to be 29 plus. So anything, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 55, 112, whatever you want. You get to choose any number. Seriously, any number. 29 or over. So you could choose 35, 55, 27, 68, 89. Let's just choose, on the last video I did 35, so let's make it 55. Okay, so I'll make 55 my random number. And then I'm going to multiply by 3. So you take your quotient and multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 3 is 15 again, plus 1 is 16, 165. Add your 28. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1. And now I have my division problem. And I can put everything in its proper place. Okay? So I just made up this division problem out of the blue by looking at my remainder, choosing any number that was greater than the remainder. When you choose that random number, multiply using the check method, and then add your remainder, and there you go. That would be your dividend. Okay? So that's how you do that one. Very important strategy. I can tell you, you will have test questions on things like this. These will be the challenging ones. This is the difference between like a okay proficient and a really good score. By the way, click subscribe, come back again if you value these videos. Last one, Mrs. Silverstein sold 91 cupcakes at a food fair. The cupcakes were sold in boxes of a baker's dozen. This is something you just kind of have to know. How many are in a baker's dozen? 13. She sold all the cupcakes at $15 per box. Congratulations. How much money did she receive? So if we have 91 cupcakes that are sold in boxes of 13, that would be the 91 divided by 13. That would look like this in our standard algorithm, 91 divided by 13. Now you want to make a guess. If you had, remember the I wish I had something close to 10. If I had 10, I might guess 9, but that would be too much, okay? That would be too high. 9 is too high because I don't actually have 10, I have 13. So I could bump it down to 8 or 7. If you tried 8 and did 8 times 3 is 24, and then you carry the 2, you see that you're going to end up with 104. That's still too big. So you have to be real careful and thoughtful about what number you're going to choose to put up here. So since those were kind of large, let's go back to the 7. 7 times 3 is 21. And looking at this, I know I'm going to end up with 9. So 7 times 1 is 7 plus 2 is 9. Always kind of looking ahead. That's exactly how many boxes. And this is 91 cupcakes. And so what is the question asking? Go back and reread it. She sold all the cupcakes at $15 per box. 7 boxes at $15 per box. How much money did she receive? Take your 15 and multiply by 7. I hope you were thinking, we have to multiply, because you're right. 7 times 5 is 35. Carry the 3. 7 times 1 is 7. Plus 3 is 10. So she received $105. Yay. And then we're all done for the day. And I hope you're getting the hang of this. We're going to do more on the next video. So stay tuned. Come back again. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.